Is this the right time to do an MBA? Is this the right time to do an MBA in the context of what's happening in the world, what's happening in the economy? And we're hearing a reasonable amount of bad news, not necessarily about the overall state of the economy, but about job prospects for youngsters. And the news that several of the IIMs are struggling for summer placements. Things are not going gaga for guys who are just graduating or sitting inside these campuses. Colleges as storied and with such giant brand names as IIT Bombay for their engineering department, they're coming out with news saying they're struggling to place all their students. There's a certain element of uncertainty, giant uncertainty about job prospects facing young graduates across the board, whether you're doing engineering or commerce or MBA, whether you're tier 1, tier 2 or tier 3. The job market as it stands today is not great. And so so therefore is it the right time to do an MBA? And so a couple of things, you're doing an MBA to improve your long-term prospects. And you to say over a 40-year career, I can be in a more meaningful role. So de-emphasize this. More near term, the best time to do an MBA historically, very clearly, when you're in a recession. Why? Because you're preparing for CAT 2024, hypothetically. Then the earliest you can join is CAT in July 2025. Your summer placements will be there in May 2026. You'll finally get a job for May 2027, which is a full nearly 33-34 months from now. When economic cycles look really bad and in that moment, or really good in that moment. But typically, they average out over cycles, and typically the decision making that we are in at the moment has to be based on the economic cycle's likelihood of being in which state 2.5 years from now, 3 years from now. And so a lot of guys about 18 months ago, when all of these startups were making so much noise in India and where money was free and it was just like one bazooka where people are shifting at 50% pay hikes and 23-year-olds were getting obscene salaries, were graduating from B schools. Everything looked hunky-dory, which probably drove how many people wrote this exam called CAT last year. All fantastic. If a percentage of them are sitting in B schools now, they're probably in the eye of the storm. Because summer internship is going to be tricky. We know that. And so typically, economic cycles do not last more than 2 years. This particular economic cycles of being bad news and jobs not being freely available and everything being scarce and tight and with an overhang of a threat from AI in the medium term, all of that. And so economic cycles are incredibly tough to read, but there's rarely a downturn that lasts for 8 years, 10 years. The only downturn that lasted a decade is the Great Depression. By the very name, we know the Great Depression. The dot-com boom bust lasted 12 months, the minor recession in the context of the world. The 2008 to 10 recession, which is a Great Recession, or what we talk about is one step short of the Great Depression, lasted not more than 18 months, 20 months. Before that, the stock markets were up, recruitment was up. The underlying economy took a little while to get going. So economies, the way the incentive systems are designed, somehow the economic cycles have become part of our life. For no fault of mine, I'm part of an economy which is really crazy and going berserk for 18 months and normal for 18 months and crashes for 12 months. And this happens every now and then, all the time, and at different levels of intensity. We've all come to accept it. We need to accept it. And there's no getting away. These are not variables that we control. And in the narrow context of is this a good time to do an MBA, you do any research over any stretch of time, the best time to think about doing an MBA is into a recession, no doubt about it. So every likelihood that you prepare for CAT 2024 or 25, whichever your context may be, then you get in 25 or 26. If you're getting in 26, your internship discussion is going to be in 26, which is more than 2 years from now. Talking about it or getting shortlisted from companies is going to be then. By the time, God knows how far the indices will be flying and how much recruitment will be happening and how much spending will be happening on great projects. Fine. So don't let the idea of an economic cycle get to you. And general wisdom is that we all panic or we all fret when the ambient news is bad. But when ambient news is bad is when you have to say, look, let me take stock. If I live through the cycle, I'll see the next one. And the best way to live through a cycle is prepare for an exam, be in a B school when this is passing, so that when the things are all hunky-dory again, we're back in the job market. And the definite 100% certain thing is that I'm sure of, the best time to prepare for CAT is when the job market is dull. No doubt about it, because your job prospect, relevant job prospect, earliest is 3 years from now, right? And right now to 3 years now is half a cycle, typically. So it's going to be a giant, dramatically different scenario to look for. So is this the right time to do an MBA? Is this the right time to do an MBA? Is this the right time to prepare for CAT, to think about doing an MBA? Given that the job market is this poor, most definitely yes. Right? So when the going is good, people like me worry. Right? Because everything is inflated, everything is flying, everything goes berserk. And then you feel like there's a lot of froth in the market. I simply couldn't recruit anyone 18 months from now. The salaries that I could afford and the salaries that they expected were like but miles apart. And I was getting squeezed everywhere. Ad spends were going berserk. So we couldn't spend on marketing, we couldn't spend on hiring, we couldn't spend on ads. We were struggling. But those are the moments where you feel like, look, we'll do our things. The economic cycles will take care of themselves. Now, quite opposite. It's the opposite. For companies like ours, into a recession is the best time to recruit. People come with modest expectations. People don't jump and go job hopping and they're glad that, look, there's a roof over my head. I have a job. I'll do well. They're committed to a journey, the company. So into a recession is when you recruit. If you're sure you're going to survive and thrive over the next half cycle. Into a recession is when you think about reskilling yourself. अब तो कुछ करने को नहीं है, skill कर लेता हूँ. I'll add my skill set so that I'm ready for the next round. One of the best avenues to skill yourself, change your brand, position yourself differently, get ready for the next level is to do an MBA. So into a recession, not even a recession, into a bad job market scenario, the best thing to do is put your head down and prepare for doing an MBA. Best wishes.